Hey guys, good morning, everybody. Today is Tuesday, October 15th. It is 6:23 right now. Market's gonna open in about 7 minutes. So I'm gonna go ahead and set up this room real quick and we'll get started shortly with our analysis for today. Just got a few more things here to update and we should be good to go. Same. And it looks like we are good to go. So let me get this link sent out to you guys here in the premium. And it looks like we are good to go. All right, so as people join in, I'm going to go ahead and start marking up liquidity over here. I'll make this quick. I'm just going to mark liquidity at the closest price. Kind of pointless to go super far out, especially when prices so far. All right, back down to the 1 minute. And it looks like we are, all right, good to go. So guys, we have a lot of liquidity sitting above. Looking at current price, so price is currently sitting below here. We have price sitting right next to the upper level of liquidity right here, which is going to be at the 43,235 price point. So we have this level of liquidity right here. We have a lower level of liquidity at 43,158. And then we have a bunch of liquidity sitting above here. First one at 43,362, and then a bunch up here over here on the 435 price point. So there goes the levels of liquidity right there. I'll be calling out the direction of the breakout shortly in about 2 minutes. So in about 2 minutes, we'll have the direction of the breakout, and then we will go from there. So if you guys saw my post in the group, Tradeify, the company that I trade straight to funded with, they have just they just upped their max account size from 5 accounts to 7 accounts. So this morning I just bought 2 more accounts. They're about like $400 each. I mean, honestly, it's better than a personal account, really. Think about it, because you're paying $400 for a 150K account. Your drawdown is really like 7,500. So the risk to reward is like pretty big on that. As long as you can stay consistent for like about a month. Unfortunately, that's not the case for a lot of people. You know, you have to stay consistent for a while. You can't just make a bunch of profit and then expect a payout. You have to like trade for like 10 days, make it over like $100 per trade. So, you know, the risk there is like huge, because um, you're basically paying a fraction of like what you would put into an actual account. because they give you 150K count, but realistically, it's not 150K. It's like it's whatever the drawdown is, which is 7,500, which is still more than what you pay into it. So again, I'll probably get a payout like by next week. So if you want to wait for that, you can wait for that. But I just want to give you guys a heads up before the promo runs out. So morning, Maria, morning, Karen, morning, CJ, morning, everybody. William's asking how many accounts do I have now? So I have a total of 28 accounts now across Apex, Tradeify, and my personal account, of course. You got to use the link, Stanley. So link's right here. And then when you use the link, there'll be a code on the website, like a specific code will pop up on the website. All right, guys. So I have breakout direction over here. All right, guys. So if you guys are in the Zoom, I put the direction of the breakout for today on there. So we got market opening up in about 20 seconds. So market opening up shortly in about 15 seconds. Market opening up in 10 seconds. 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Market is now open. And this thing spiked super hard on open.
Order filled.
So let's see. Yeah, this thing made a huge spike here on open. So we'll see if this thing comes back down. If it doesn't, it's fine. That was a pretty big spike right there on open. Just got to change my parameters over here real quick. Let's see. So it's at 103. So down here. All right, so we'll follow it here as price continues to move along, of course. Set a target right there. So I've set an alert right there. Let's see where where's the actual entry from? Okay, so I got in with like a huge spike right here, which is okay. So I got in with a little bit of a spike right here. I got into my actual entry was 309 or 209 actually. Entry was supposed to be at 203. So I got a bit of some, I guess, slippage right there on the open because it just spikes so heavily. Anyways, we'll come back and take a look at that breakout shortly. Let me take a look at the news for today. I don't think there was much news. Actually, there was. So there was news at 5:30. It was Empire State Manufacturing Index. I'll mark that up on the calendar or on the chart, actually. So over here at 5:30, there was news. Didn't really move price, but it had a reaction a little later in the day. So there goes news price right there. We got opening candle, which is kind of crazy looking candle right here. Yeah, it's been kind of a weird market for the past 2 weeks. If you guys, I mean, obviously you guys have been following me. But the past 2 weeks, last week was like super, super choppy. It looks like this week is going to be choppy as well. So the first level of liquidity right here just got hit, guys. Well, it got hit on the opening candle, of course. So if you guys took that first level of liquidity right there, that already hit for full TP. Price is dropping down now in the direction of our breakout. It's about halfway down right now. I'm in profit about 60 points. It's about 40 points away from the TP. But like I said yesterday, it's kind of a choppiness. It's a choppy move, so it's not really directional. It's kind of just going back and forth. So we'll kind of see what happens here. But yeah, everything's set up. And we'll see where price ends up going. If you guys want to take some market flow V2s, you guys can. So the entry is going to happen probably right here at the 190 mark. It's just a little bit of a mess and it's very choppy. So I'd probably be careful with the market flow V2s, at least until we have some more stability in the market. But if you guys do want to take it, looks like the entry is probably going to happen right here at the 190 mark. So if you guys want to go for that 1030 entry, you guys can go for those entries there. Again, it's going to be a little tricky because of the market direction, market volatility. It's very choppy right now. So breakout's moving closer and closer to TP. I'm in profit about 70 points, so about 30 points away from our target. It just hit liquidity right here. So if you guys took that level of liquidity, full TP right there as well. So this liquidity is done with. I'm going to take that off, full TP on that one. And then second level of liquidity down below here, full TP on that as well. So if you guys took these levels of liquidity, pretty much hit, went straight to TP, and then we'll continue looking for the next entries over here as well. Like I said, it's kind of tricky to take any of these other entries because of the spike. So I'm not sure if it's going to go straight to your TP or if it's going to come and spike up. It's just really hard to tell with how price is moving here. It's very blocky. And then on top of that, the ATR is currently at 40 right now. So we have a super, super volatile market here on open. We just have to see how this here plays through. Let's see. Williams said Elite Trader Funding. I've actually never heard of them, so maybe I'll take a look. I don't know if I'm only using prop firms that have NinjaTrader. Price is coming down right here, almost at its TP for the breakout. It's coming down. Full TP right there, guys. Mount. Ooh, back-to-back TPs right there.
Target filled.
Target filled. There we go. Back-to-back wins this week for breakout. Profits looking nice across every account. Just added 2 more accounts on there too, so I got another win on those accounts. I'm glad I got up early today because they just announced the extra 2 accounts this morning. So I was able to like hop on real quick. The cool thing with like Tradeify is like as soon as you buy the account, it's like immediate. You don't have to wait because they don't have a lot of clients right now. They're still a new company. So like when I bought the account, as soon as I bought it, the account was ready to go. So I didn't have to wait for them to set up my account, give me login credentials, any of that stuff. And yeah, I took the trade on that account, so now I have 28 accounts. It's crazy. A lot of profits right there. So anyways, let me take a screenshot of this right here. This here, again, another breakout, full TP. All right, looks like this might be a good week. I was kind of scared on open, not gonna lie, guys. A little scared on open. If you guys saw how it spiked up like that, because I was like, man, it usually doesn't spike up like that immediately. Usually, if it does spike up like that, it's not good news. But it spiked up and it came right back down. I had a feeling it was going to come down because I already did my analysis over here for the Asia session range and then the New York or the London session, like bigger range right here. And I was like, okay, this is probably going to continue this way in this direction. So I had an idea it was going to be a sell. So I was hoping we'd have that momentum that was in play. And then it played out perfect. So nice. Yeah, Sam said his blood pressure went from 86 to 138. And immediately on open, I was like, yeah, the thing spiked up. So I was like, I was already over it. I was like, if this doesn't work out, fine. You know, I'm gonna keep just I'm just gonna let it be because we won yesterday, so it just would have been break even if we lost today. But thankfully it came back down. I knew it was gonna come back down. It was just I didn't understand why this here spiked up like that. It was just a fake out. It faked out right here to lure in some buyers. As soon as all those buyers came in, came right back down to stop everybody out. Tricky market, but played out in our favor. Williams said, I swear there's more and more Williams as the year goes by. Oh, well, new one must be on YouTube. Yeah, William, exactly. Well, he's actually, he's the same William from before. So he's the same William that was in the group a long time ago. He's just on the YouTube now. So we got some profits over here from Sam. Sam locked in a total profit of, let's see, I'll put this in the chat over here. Be a little easier to see for everyone. So William over here locked in a total profit of 362 for the day. Nice work, Sam. We got Jonathan here. He locked in 500 on that trade, full TP. Nice work, Jonathan. Here, I'll screenshot my profits over here as well. There we go. So here, I'm gonna close out my Ninja Trader. That's the nice thing about this breakout, guys. It's like I take this one trade, and once it hits TP, I'm like done. I can just close my laptop. I don't have to worry about nothing. But anyways, here are my profits from that trade. There's no entries here yet, so if you guys are looking for the market flow V2, price has to swing back up. The entry is going to happen right here, guys, at the 120 mark, it looks like. So if you guys will have three different options here. If you guys want to go for the 1030, you can go for the 1030. If you want to go for the 3030, you can go for the 3030. If you want to go for the 6030, you can do that as well. It's just really up to your preference. So again, if you guys want to take the market flow V2, the first market flow V2, you'll have the opportunity for different entries here. You can take the big one, you can take the medium one, you can take the small one, right? If you want to go for the big one, 60 TP, 30 stop loss, that's going to be the bigger move. If you want to use this as a confluence, you can use this as a confluence. It's just really up to you as a trader. You know, you have to make a decision if you want to go for that bigger risk, bigger reward. If you don't want to go for that full risk, then you can always go with the one-to-one. If you can do 30-30 if you like. And if you want to go for the least amount of risk, you could go for the 1030 because this will likely trigger your order and then go straight to your TP. And if you want to keep double dipping into the trade, you can do that as well. So again, the entry is going to happen right here at the 42,120 mark. So if you want to enter right here, there's three different options that you can take. It's up to you. For me personally, I would just use the big one as like as a confluence, and then I would just like double dip or triple dip, quadruple dip into the trade with a 10-point move. It's just easier that way for me personally. It fits my trading style. It fits my trade psychology, so I'm not too worried about the position. If you have a little more thicker skin, you can always go for the one-to-one. That's always going to be good too. Or if you want to just be lazy and just go for the bigger move, you can do that as well. It's just you're going to make more profit if you go for the smaller moves because you just have to like double dip into it. You guys have seen what's happened over the past couple of weeks, past couple of months. Typically we go with a 10-30 split. So like if you can double dip, if you can dip into this trade like about 6 times, you'll make this amount. But if you combine them, so if you go for the one-to-one and then you go for a couple of the 10-30s, you could lock in like maybe double, if not triple profit. So again, it's just up to your preference, guys. The entry hasn't filled yet. The entry is now moving down to the 110 mark. I think the volatility here is kind of slowing down a little bit, so it might not swing up and fill just yet. The thing that you want to be careful for here, guys, is that once price starts to go sideways, like right now it's starting to go sideways. This is where you want to be careful. You probably might not even want to enter the trade yet. So once price starts to go sideways like this, let me just clean this up a little bit. Once price starts to go sideways like this, there's no market flow there, right? So there's no entry for market flow. You want price to be moving like this. Right? It's sort of happening here, but it's not really smooth, right? It's starting to go sideways. So if it starts to go sideways, like really flat, then you want to just scrap the idea of taking market flow because there's no market flow in the market. It's really just market consolidation. So it's still moving directional. You can see here, it is moving slightly directional. But if you start to see price to go sideways, just cancel your order. Just cancel your order, wait for the next one because there's going to be more entries. It's not the only entry that's going to come up for today. Okay, so now it's starting to move more directional. That's a good sign. We do want market flow to come through. But again, just got to be smart about your entries here. You have to actively watch it because if you don't actively watch it, you can get caught in a really bad position. So it looks like the entry is going to move down a little bit further. It's now down at the 100 mark. And again, we'll just keep following it here as price continues to trail along. Thanks, Jacob. Good to see you back here on the live session. It's good talking to you this morning. Glenn said, what's the analysis behind the breakout strat? It's based off the momentum signal. So you need the indicators to identify, which direction. That's how you would take the trade. It's pretty much just the momentum signal. That's literally all it is. I'm not really using a trend or anything like that. I'm just going off momentum directly. So anyways, here are my profits. And here, I'll take a screenshot of my... I always take a screenshot of my Tradeify because it's different with the others. So it's a nice first win for that Tradeify account. To added 2 more to it. I'll make sure to cover my account number this time. I keep forgetting. All right. So here are my profits. So I locked in, let's see, an average of, we'll just say 1,500 because there's my personal account over here locked in almost 1,600, but I'll just put 1,500 across. It's just easier to do the math that way. So 1,500 times 28. Geez, 42,000. Not bad for one trade, just a breakout. So there goes my profits right there for the day. I'm at 4,200. And then for the week so far, we're basically at an average of 3,000. So 3,000 times 28, about 84,000 for the week so far, just two trades. Nice. It's been a good week so far. So here are my straight to funded accounts with Tradeify. You can see over here, these are my two new ones. So I'm basically at 154,000 net equity right now across these accounts because these are the ones I've been trading. And then I added these two right here this morning. It's now at 151. So I'm inching closer and closer to payout period. I think I'm now at like 6 or 7 days of trading. So once I get to those 10 days, I can request my payout. And then we'll go from there. We'll go from there, and then I can confirm that they're paying out. And then if you guys want to hop onto it, feel free to hop on. All right, there's still no entry here, guys, for the market flow V2. If you guys are looking to take it, entries now move down to the 90 mark. Again, you want to be careful to watch for when price starts to go sideways, right? Because you don't want to be taking these trades and prices going sideways. You want there to be market flow going on. So entry still has not filled yet, but you just want to pay attention to the candles here. You have to really pay attention because price is slightly going down, but as soon as it starts to flatten out and go sideways, you don't want to take any more trades because this can be a reversal, right? The thing that you want to look out for here too as well is the buy signal. So if this buy signal here closes, you want to cancel your order. You want to get out for a small profit or a small loss wherever you're at. It'll probably be around break even. If a buy signal comes up right here, it'll probably be in profit. You can just, if you're in the position, you can pull out really quickly. So it looks like the volatility here is starting to die out. So again, this is another reason why I like taking the breakout is because we catch the volatility. So the market here drops immediately like on open. And then as it gets closer to 7 o'clock, we start to get this sideways move here where it just gets super, super flat, right? And you don't want that. So again, if the buy signal here closes, you're going to have to close out of the position, guys. If you want to just skip this entry here, feel free to skip it. I would recommend just skipping it because, like I said, it's starting to go sideways here. So the buy signal there is currently coming up. If this closes, you're supposed to close out of the position for a small profit, break even, small loss. It's like very, very minimal. So if you want to close out at break even, you could close out right there, right at entry point. Or if you want to wait for it to come down a little bit, you can. But like I said, once this buy signal comes up, you're supposed to close out of that position immediately. So now that we have a buy signal here, you have to wait for the sell signal to come back up. So in order for you to take more sells, you need a sell signal to come up. And again, you need to look for the pattern of market flow. So you need to see market flow happening in the market. You can't have price going back and forth like this. This is pretty much what's been happening. I mean, it's been happening pretty much since summer, right? This is another reason why like the parameters have kind of changed a little bit. So like typically these scalps, we take them all throughout the day. Now we kind of just limit them to 6:40 to 7 because after 7 o'clock, market really goes flat, right? So I'm not in any positions here. The only position I took for the day and the only position I plan on taking probably from now until the end of the year is going to be the breakout. And that's why my profits here stay consistent because I just take one entry per day, which is the breakout. So if you guys have some profits to post up, feel free to send them in. We got Stanley over here. So Stanley locked in a profit of 2,000 on his Apex account. And then on his PA account, he locked in 500 each. Nice work, Stanley. So Stanley locked in about 3,000 for the day. Great work there. Jonathan here on his other account, he locked in about 500 as well. To be exact, 494. Nice work, Jonathan. We got Vince here. Vince locked in 900 on his first account, 1,000 on his second account, 460 on his third account, and 460 on his fourth account right here. So a total profit of Yeah, about 3,000 for the day. Nice work, Vince. And then we have Vince's FTMO account. I'm surprised Vince is still on his FTMO. He's like the only person I think that's on FTMO still. I'm surprised you didn't blow the account, Vince, because everyone kind of either blew their account or did they just like fell off. So total profit of 402 right there, Vince. Nice work on keeping that account alive, because you've had that account for a while now. So I know it's crazy, right? Let's see. Stanley's asking, how does the drawdown work? I see end of day drawdown, but it says trailing drawdown, also a daily loss limit. I don't think there's a daily loss limit with Tradeify, Stanley. Let me see. I'll pull it up for you. Are you looking at the straight to funded, or are you looking at the? You're probably looking at the evals. I don't think there's a. You just have like your max drawdown. You don't really have a daily loss, I don't think. All right, let me pull it up right here. There's no entries right now, guys, so don't worry. You're not missing out on anything. So let's see. Yeah, there's no daily loss limit right here. Are you are you on the same website? Or you're talking about this one here? Okay. So you're talking about the like basically with these daily loss limits, they're set to yeah, so this on the regular accounts, there's no daily loss limit. There's really depending on your risk, I mean, you shouldn't be risking 3,750 in a day anyways, Stanley. So I mean, unless you're trying to YOLO the account, which I'm pretty sure you're trying to do with the straight to funded, you shouldn't be doing that. Like if you want to trade consistently, and the reason why I say you shouldn't be risking that much is because you're capped at your withdrawal anyways. So you got to trade for 10 days, you got to make $100 per day. And then you're capped at a 3,500 withdrawal. So it's like, why would you risk more than 3,000 per trade when you're capped? So it's a soft breach, meaning that like you don't blow your account, but they just tell you like, yo, Stanley, you suck today, bro. Like, no more trading, right? They basically just they stop you from blowing the account. So it's a soft breach, but it's not like they don't blow your account where you completely lose it. But you shouldn't be risking this much anyways. Like realistically, you shouldn't be losing more than 3,750 because it's gonna mess with your what's it called with your consistency, right? So if you're just taking the breakouts with me, it shouldn't be a problem because you're risking like 1,500 per trade. You're going to be like way far from the daily loss limit, and then your max trailing drawdown is going to be 7,500. So, and the way that it works is that it's end of day. So it's not like trailing. So it's not like Apex uh, where say for example you're in profit, it comes back down, but you could blow the account. It's not like that. It means end of day. So what it means by that is that the trailing drawdown doesn't follow your trade. So say, for example, we talked about this before, Stanley, and I know this was like one of the big issues. Like, if you want to take a big trade where your TP is like 100 points and then your stop loss is like 20 points, right? And then say, for example, it pushes up in profit, the trailing drawdown is not going to follow it like Apex. You're going to have like the same trailing drawdown. And then if you come back down below, then that's where you kind of get screwed. Does it make sense? It's actually better than Apex. So it's like Top Step. I don't think you've done Top Step before, but the trailing drawdown works as end of day, not as it's not intraday trailing. But the thing that you want to keep in mind is that might change. So this company Tradeify is a new company, so like they're changing a lot of rules. So one rule that I think is like super super annoying with Tradeify is the scalping rule. So if you guys are taking liquidity trades, you're probably not going to want to use Tradeify because it's not a hard rule, but they say that your account's going to be flagged. Like it's going to be flagged regardless of the fact. If your trade hits TP within 5 seconds, it doesn't mean that you've blown your account or you violated anything, but it's going to be flagged. So that's like one rule that I think is annoying, and I think it's going to affect a lot of people. Because the liquidity trades, like, if you took liquidity, it's going to go straight to TP regardless, right? It's just going to go straight. Like as soon as you hit TP, for example, the liquidity was sitting right here. This thing spiked on open. So like literally it went up straight. hit your TP within like a second or two. So the thing with Tradeify, and I want you guys to understand, is that they're a new company, so they're going to be making changes. They might not make changes right away, but they're going to be making changes, of course, along the way. That's kind of the risk that you take trading with a new company that hasn't been established. Like it's the same with Apex. When Apex first came out, there were like no rules, and then they started to add rules along the way. So it just wouldn't really matter because a lot of these prop firms, they're going to add rules regardless. So what I would recommend, and this is pretty much what I'm doing too, is I'm not really making a lot of I'm making a lot of profit from these prop firms, but I don't put all my eggs into prop firms. So with these prop firms, I'm making profit, I'm paying out, I'm getting my withdrawals, and then I'm moving them into my personal account. So you can see over here for my trades, my personal account is taking the same contract size as all of my other accounts, right? But when I get payouts from these accounts, I transfer the funds over to my personal account and then I scale on my personal account. I don't scale on the prop firms. I just keep them as is. I trade the way that the prop firms want me to trade so that they can keep paying me out. There's no issues. And then I just transfer the funds to my personal account. And in my personal account, that's where I scale. Because on my personal account, nobody can stop me, right? There's no prop firm that's going to deny me a payout because on my personal account, that's my own money. So what I would recommend for a lot of you guys is don't use these prop firms as like your trading account. Use these prop firms as a vehicle to get cash flow, right? That's what I'm doing. So if you guys didn't understand what I just said, basically what I'm doing here is on prop firm. So prop firm accounts, I trade how the prop firms want me to trade. I don't violate rules. Don't trade news. I trade conservatively, right? That's basically how I trade. For my prop firm accounts, I trade how the prop firms want me to trade. I trade within the rules. I hold the trade for as long as they want me to. I don't do anything weird, like I don't do DCA. I know a lot of people like to do DCA. I don't do DCA. I don't add on to positions. I just take one trade in the morning, which is a breakout. I get my profits, and then from there, I move. I trade consistently. Always use same contract size. And then from there, when I get my payouts, prop firm payouts paid to deposited into personal account. See? And then so like I'll move my prop firm payouts to my personal account. And then for my personal account, can do whatever I want. Right. So I think, well, this is like pretty much, this is where you guys should be doing too. Like long-term wise, you shouldn't be banking everything on these prop firms because these prop firms are going to get shut down eventually, right? It always happens. Like it happened with FTMO. I thought it would never happen with FTMO, but it did happen with FTMO. So like basically, I trade a specific way for the prop firm so that I keep them happy. We all make profits. And then when I get my payouts, I move the payouts to my personal account. And then for my personal account, I do whatever I want. I'll increase my contract size. I'll take scalps. I'll take quick entries. I'll take risky entries. I can do whatever I want on that account. So, I think that's the long-term goal that you guys should look at. You guys shouldn't look at these prop firms. Like you should look at these prop firms as like free money, basically. Where you guys can just make profit right away and then move those profits to your personal account so you have no restrictions. Because I mean, what are you gonna do with the profit anyways, right? Eventually these prop firms are gonna kick you out. Like I think even even Apex, they even have a rule. Like I saw this rule a long time ago, which I thought was super weird. I don't know if it's still there, but they had a rule where it was like if you get paid out like 2 million by Apex, they have the right to kick you out. Like basically they could kick you out with no questions. I don't know if that rule is still on there, but it was like in the contract a long time ago when I got my first account. So, don't put all your trust into these prop firms. That's why I'm like dipping into other prop firms. I'm using Apex, I'm using Tradeify. I'm gonna start using some Fast Track once they have NinjaTrader. I'm only using the ones that have NinjaTrader so I can add them to my copier. So like you guys see my accounts over here. I could have more accounts, but I just do everything on my NinjaTrader, so I don't have to go from account to account. And yeah, Jacob, Tradeify did move from 5 to 7 accounts. That's why this morning when I was talking to you, I bought 2 more accounts. So now I have a total of 28 accounts that I'm trading. 1 personal, 20 from Apex, and then 7 from Tradeify. All right, guys. So if you guys are looking for entries here, it looks like there was one entry that came up right here. I didn't see it. I mean, price has been going sideways right here, so there's not really too much to work with. This entry came up at 654. So, I mean, technically this would have been the entry earlier, guys, but again, I wouldn't recommend taking it because you guys see how price is moving right here sideways. There's not really much market flow going on here. So I personally would not have taken that trade there. But if you guys wanted to take it, or if you guys want to keep taking trades, I'll look for some more levels over here. So if you want to take another market flow V2, the next entry is going to happen right here at the 70 mark. It would be for a 10-point move. Since the bigger move's pretty much done with. And on top of that, it's currently 7 o'clock. So it's a little too late to take any of the bigger moves anyways. So if you guys are not familiar with the market flow V2, typically this strategy is executed between 6:40 and 7 o'clock. Now that it's past 7 o'clock, you can still take market flow V2s, but you should be taking the smaller moves because the volatility here starts to die down and the market gets flat. So right now you can see the market is getting a little flat, or it's been flat for the past 20 minutes or so. Let's go over here to our clean chart. I'll mark up some levels here so that you guys can see it a little better. Right. So I pretty much marked up open structure here. You can see how price was consolidating within these 2 levels. It's now below, but it might just fake out. So you can see how price faked out above here, pulled back into the range. This might fake out again right here and pull right back into the range. The consolidation is really down here in the middle. Let's go over to our other chart over here. So let's go to our SR chart. I'm going to mark up the zones here on the 10-minute. So there's a support level here, which price will likely come down to touch. Looks like. What else I got here? All right, so this is where price is currently sitting. Let's go back to the 1-minute. All right, so there's basically 2 ways that this can go right now where price is currently at. Price is currently in between the support and resistance right now. So you can see how price came down right here, came back to retest this upper resistance level, came right back into the range. So there's 2 ways price will go here. Price will either continue going sideways, or there's 3 ways actually. Price will either continue to go sideways in this range. It'll either come down here to retest the support, or price can either go sideways, come up, retest the resistance, and come back down. So there's just too many scenarios here. If you look how price is currently set up, there's nothing here to really take. I wouldn't recommend taking anything right now because there's just no volatility and price is really just going sideways right here. I would wait for some sort of confirmation. So what I would look for here, I'll mark up a couple different likely scenarios here. So one of the scenarios is price climbs up, retest this area, fakes out, and comes back down. That's going to be one scenario. You guys seen this pattern before. It's like a head and shoulders, basically. The other thing that can happen is an inverted head and shoulders, right? So price can come down from here, fake out right here, and then come back up, basically an inverted head and shoulders. So you can basically identify two head and shoulders patterns from opposite ends. The other thing that can happen here is price will just come up and just bounce in between this range here. So there's just too many scenarios here that you can really, I mean, there's not like one direction that you can look for here, because it doesn't look like there's any confirmation or confluence that price is going in that direction. So there's nothing here to really take. I mean, if you guys want to take something, I would probably just look for the reversals at the outside ends. So like, for example, right here, see how there was a V1 variation pattern? Price came up, it was a double body rejection, and then you could have taken that right back down. What I would look for here is look for price to either come above here, give that double body rejection, come back down. That's probably the best case scenario, or the opposite, if price comes down here and it gives you that double body rejection, you go from there back into the range. Otherwise, there's not really much direction here. So you can't really take this directional. You're not going to get market flow to the upside, at least not yet. And you're not going to get market flow to the downside, at least not yet either. The thing that you want to be careful for, if price goes in either direction. So for example, price is pushing up here. It might look like price is starting to flow to the upside, but you want to look out for the fake out, because price will probably fake out right here and then come right back down. Or in the opposite, price can come below here, right outside the range, like right outside the support here, fake out right there, and then come back in. I think price is probably going to sit within this area for a while. The reason why I think that is because there's no catalyst in the market. So if you look over here at the news for today, there's just nothing going on. There's nothing to push price. Like I said, there's no news until like Thursday. So everything's pretty much flat for the rest of the day here. We have consumer inflation expectations at 8 o'clock, but again, that's not really high impact, it's low impact. On a Wednesday, we don't even have stuff here either. We have import, export prices month over month. That's not going to push price very much. And then Thursday is where the actual news comes out. And so Thursday over here, we have initial jobless claims, 4-week average, continuing jobless claims, retail sales, car sales, year over year, gas auto sales. This all happens pre-market. So this happens at 5:30. You're probably going to see some movement like we had this morning because of the news pre-market. And then during the day, we have a couple other news events. But yeah, for today specifically, there's just nothing here. So, you know, you're probably just going to see this go sideways, or it'll have like a slow climb. Like it'll climb slow, like a really, really slow climb. And then eventually it'll break out back down. So just keep that in mind, guys. There's just nothing here to really work with. I mean, if you guys have any questions, feel free to put them in the chat. Otherwise, I'm just looking out for you guys so that you guys don't take anything here unnecessary. I mean, really, it is unnecessary to trade right now, though. Today's Tuesday, so you have a whole week ahead of you guys. You don't need to force anything here. Oh, so this thing did exactly what I mentioned. So you see here how I drew the fake out? It faked out, pulled back into the range. Right here, I said, look out for the fake out, and it might push back into the range. And that's exactly what's happening. So this chart over here is probably not going to be super useful because there's just too many open space. But if you look over here on the clean chart, this kind of gives you a better picture of like what's actually happening here. So price will basically push out, fake out, and then it'll pull back into the range. Same with this one right here, right? Price faked out right here, and then it pulled back into the range. So again, you can just keep looking for the same thing. Like I said before, you can just look for those V1 variation patterns. That's what happened right here. Double body rejection. You can look for price to push up a little bit higher. You know, come up with some sort of double body rejection there, and then pull back into the range. Otherwise, I mean, price is probably just going to sit around this area for a while. So if you guys have any questions, feel free to put them in the chat. Otherwise, I'm not really expecting much to happen here. I sit tight for a bit. All right. And I think moving forward, guys, I'll probably, so like one question that I had with a lot of people is, or one new question, or not really new question, someone is asking, like, if they want to learn the strategies where they can learn. If you guys are new here and you guys don't have access to the website, just go to our website. Website is kodikaitrades.com. If you guys are on the YouTube, you can scroll down. The website's like in the description. This is the website here. So if you want to have access to basically the course where all the strategies are taught, you can just click on unlock your free access right here. This will give you access to the free intro course. Basically, it has a breakdown of all the strategies, and then also the previous intro course that we had, years back, that was created like 6 years ago. So pretty much everything on the website you can watch. The only thing that you really pay for is if you want access to the indicators. So if you want access to this high-low indicator to identify V1 variation reversal patterns, you can have access to that. If you want access to the momentum signals, where this is basically the only indicator that I use for the breakout. So, for example, the breakout happened over here, right? We had a buy signal. Took that for the sell right there. And that's how I took the breakout this morning. Right? Super simple, just one indicator. If you guys want access to the pivots, you can have the pivots to identify the trend and look for market flow V2 entries. If you want access to the ATR down here, right? Usually there's nothing down here, but if you want access to the ATR so that you can understand where price is currently moving, how volatility is moving, you can have that there as well. So there's a lot of different tools here. I know there's a couple new people that are in the group. If you guys want access to it, feel free to pull it up. If you just want to have an idea of like what we're doing here, you can either review any of the previous live sessions or you can watch the videos explaining the indicators and the tools. Otherwise, the other question that I had, and what was the other question that we had today? Sorry, I just blanked out. There was another question that was oh yeah, someone was asking if I can like share the, and I'll do that on a weekly basis. Here, I'll show you guys what the profits are currently for the month so far. Let me see if I can take a screenshot of it. Because this kind of shows you like what happens throughout the entire month, right? A lot of people like to show what their profits are for the day, but I don't think the day is really going to be really helpful, right? And like a couple people in the group were asking like, hey, like they liked how I posted the stats for October over here. I posted the stats for October at the end of the week, and they really like that. They're like, oh, this is cool because it shows you all the trades. It shows you losing trades, profitable trades, profit, like after all the fees and expenses. And yeah, I can do that. So I'll show you guys where we're currently at so far. Over here. Let's see. I was trying to okay, I'll just screenshot this because I don't want to. I was going to show you guys, but it's going to show you guys my account number if I just copy this, if I move this over. So yeah, some people are asking if I can just pretty much share this every week, and I'll do that. At the end of every week, I'll share the stats for the month so far. So these are the current stats for the month of October so far. You can see over here, I put the performance tab. I put for this month, October, right there. So basically from October 1st up until October 15th, we took a total of 10 trades. We had 8 wins, 2 losses, total profit of 10,515, total loss of 3,165. These are the totals here. So I paid about $100, $83.70 in commissions and fees. So my total net profit with losses and wins is 7,266. So I have about 28 accounts here. So if you want to do the math, that's kind of how you do the math there. So like 7,266 times 30 or times 28. And that's how much profit is pretty much yielded for the month so far. Of course, I have 2 new accounts, so it's not really going to be about this amount. It's going to be a little bit less, of course. So that's about like how much profit. If you have as many accounts as so you got to keep that in mind. Like I have a lot of accounts. So these right here, they pretty much, I mean, this is how much you'll add up, but not everybody has 28 accounts, right? If you have like 1 account, then of course that'll be your profit for the month so far if you took every breakout with me. Yeah, I mean, this is going to be helpful for you guys because you guys can see here that this shows you the transparency of the strategy. And this is why I'm sticking to the breakout only. I've only taken 10 trades, but this is how much profit I've made for the entire month so far. We're halfway through the month, so it's been a pretty good month so far. Last week wasn't the greatest, but the week before that was good, and this week's pretty solid as well. We're currently at an 80% win rate for this month, so pretty good. I would expect this to be pretty above average with regard to stats. So other than that, Lisa's asking, can we purchase the indicator separately? What do you mean by that, Lisa? It's the same way it's always been, so nothing's really changed. So not sure what you mean by purchase the indicators separately. If you want to go more into detail about that. Like if you're talking about the live sessions are just, I mean, you can pay for those separately, but they're just included in it. So they're technically free if you're getting the indicators. Because the thing is, like, I wouldn't give you guys the indicators if like you didn't have access to the live sessions. It just wouldn't make sense because you wouldn't be able to see me apply them during live trading. So there's nothing different. I mean, you technically are already purchasing them separately. They're not, it's not like you're getting some sort of anything extra. It's just that the live session just thrown in with it so that you can see the actual strategies being applied during the live sessions. Hey, Brock. Oh man, yeah. So Brock's a good day, Sean. Overslept and missed the breakout. Yeah, the breakout was pretty solid today, Brock. It was kind of scary though. So like, I think you might have freaked out a little bit if you saw that breakout this morning. So you can see the candle over here from the entry, Brock. It actually shot up in drawdown, like pretty far up. So it shot up in drawdown about 77 points or 78 points. I was already ready to lose the trade this morning. I was like, okay, if this keeps going and it hits my stop loss, whatever. And then it came down perfectly. So it shot up about like 80 points, and then it came all the way back down to our TP for 100 points. So played out pretty nice for the day. Yeah, no problem, Lisa. And just a reminder, guys, if you guys want access to the indicators and the strategies, you guys got to do that pretty soon because once the hedge fund is up and running, I'm going to close down the sign up. So I just want to give you guys that heads up now. You probably have maybe a month or two to make that decision. Whoever has access to the indicators and the strategies, you guys are fine. You guys will be grandfathered in. You can keep using them. But new people just can't sign up anymore. We're trying to close it off because once I start the hedge fund, I don't want like a bunch of people using this breakout. You guys can see how much profit is yielded from this breakout. You know, I want to keep this like pretty secret between us here. Like I'm okay with sharing it with like a couple of you guys, like a good handful of you guys here, but not like hundreds of people doing the breakout and then the strategy stops working. That's just going to be, it's going to be more work on my end trying to figure out what I have to do to make adjustments. All right, guys, so price is climbing back up right here. If you guys are still looking to take some entries here for some market flow V2s, again, you'd look for price to swing up, retrace, swing up, retrace, swing up. Once we have this pattern here where price is starting to flow to the upside, you'd start looking for some market flow V2s. So price is currently just sitting around this area, basically looking for price to come up a little bit, retrace back down, and then shoot right back up from where it's currently at. We don't have that confirmation yet, but it's getting close to it. So basically, you want this to climb up a little bit higher, basically back to opening price right here around that area. It doesn't have to be all the way up to there, but close enough. You want price to kind of push up a little bit and then retrace down to the pivot. William is asking, are you only trading the breakouts now? Yeah, I'm only taking the breakouts from now until the end of the year. Because I can't mix them both. I mean, the only way to really have the data from like, because I'm trying to pull the data from the breakouts. The breakouts are basically going to be like the main strategy I'll be taking because it's more stable, it's less volatile, and you pretty much know, by the end of the day where you're at. When you're taking the other scalps, you'll make a lot of, so when you take these smaller scalps here, like the market flow V2s, you can make a lot more profit. Realistically, you can make a lot more profit because for the past couple of days, if you guys have seen, we've had like, I think 7 market flow V2s come up, right? So for me per day, I'm making about 1,500, right? That's how much I'm making for just the breakout. For the market flow V2s, I was taking, I forget, I think like a 7 contract. Yeah, so say for example here for per market flow V2, you're making about 350, right? And then yesterday we had about like 8 entries come up. So times 8, that's 2,800. So you make a lot more if you're taking a bunch of these scalps versus just one breakout. So in order for me to really have like a good idea of like how the breakout works long term, I have to take just the breakout because and then on top of that, I can't stack positions. So typically these breakouts, they hit right away. But if you traded the breakouts with me past couple weeks, like the trade would run for like hours, right? It wouldn't push 100 points for like until like 11 o'clock. So if that's the case, I can't really take the scalps in between. So I have to make a decision whether I want to take the breakouts or whether I want to take the scalps, because you can't take both when the breakout's still holding on to like pretty much all of your margin. So yeah, I'm sticking to mainly just the breakouts from now until the end of the year. I guess I'll make my decision by the end of the year if I want to stick to the breakouts or if I want to change things up. The thing with the breakouts is that it's a long-term strategy. So you're not going to expect to make a lot of profit right away. You can, so realistically, you can make a lot of profit right away if you're having like a nice win streak. Like for example, if you have 5 wins for this 5 wins for this week, right? So 1,500 times 5, you'll make pretty good profit, right? You'll make 7,500. So realistically, yes, you can make a lot of profit, but with the stats, it doesn't usually happen that way, right? You're gonna have like maybe 1 loss or 2 losses per week, and then you'll end up with like 1 net win or 2 net wins per week. So realistically, you're gonna make between 1,500 to 3,000 per week. So doing that compared to the market flow V2s, like if you're taking this and you're taking about like 10 entries a week, you'll make a lot more. So you just have to make you really have to like choose if you want something that's more stable, that's long term and more consistent, or if you want something that's more risky, more volatile, but you can make more profit, right? There's two spectrums of the side here with regard to which strategy you want to apply. For me, I'd rather just stay consistent. You guys know how I trade. I'm very conservative, so I'd rather just trade consistently, the breakout, and then let the profits balance out long term. See, Patricia is asking, Sean, can you explain your analysis of Asia, London, and New York, which helps you with direction? It's kind of hard for me to explain. It's something that, well, I guess I can kind of explain it to you. It's very subjective. So this is basically the breakout we were taking before. So before we started taking the momentum breakout, we were taking this breakout, but you'd have to factor in the news as well. So it's basically the breakout strategy from before, Patricia. So I can't give you an exact, like there's no rules for it. It's just identifying market structure. So for example, here, let me turn off momentum. For example, right here, Asia session, it's a range, right? And then looking at this over here, this is London session, range, or manipulation. So this is where it becomes tricky because there's different ways of identifying it. So over here for Asia session, you can see this is an obvious range. Like there's no question this is a range, right? Price opened right here, and then it closed right there. With this over here, this could be considered a range or it could be considered manipulation, right? Because this is technically a range right here. Our price went back, it opened right here and it just went sideways. But realistically, price went sideways, it came down, kind of got manipulated a little bit, and then it ranged sideways. So what I do here is I use this market structure. So like, for example, if I see Asia session that's moving directional, then I'll expect, and this is where it becomes a little murky because like, for example, Asia session could be ranging or it could be moving directional. London could be ranging, and then I could expect New York session to continue ranging or no, continue dropping. The thing with this here is that this was ranging. This right here was also ranging. So what I was expecting right here is I was expecting another range, but a bigger range because it was New York session. So I'm expecting range, range, range. And because price already came down like this, I wasn't expecting the correction back up because like I said, I was expecting a range here, right? So the range would have been far enough for me to hit my TP if price was to range down and to range back up. And that's kind of what's happening right here. Price did come back down, and now it's coming back to the upper range, kind of like what happened here during London session. And this is where I kind of got the idea, right? Is it starting to make sense, Patricia? I just want to make sure it's making sense. I know it might not make sense, but you can kind of see the same pattern repeating itself right here. So London session right here, it ranged, came down, and then it came back up, basically into the range. That's what I was expecting right here too. Price came down, ranged, came back down, came back up in range. So it's basically just repeating London session. This is the technical side of things, but on top of that, if you want to add even more to it, you can look at the fundamentals, like you can look at the news. So for me, I kind of look at everything like in one sphere. I'll look at the fundamentals and I'll kind of identify what the news came out from yesterday and the couple days before that. And then I'll tie that in with the technicals here. So I'm basically looking for a repeated pattern. So like if Asia session here was moving directional and this was ranging, I would expect this to move directional as well. Or if this was moving upwards, this range, I would expect this to move upwards as well. So there's just a lot of different factors that go into understanding, like you just like I don't really know how to explain it because I just see it on the chart. Like for example, I didn't even realize that I was looking at this here until like you mentioned it, because it's the same pattern that's happening right now during New York session. Came down, came back up. It's going to slightly come back lower from there. It's just a repeat process. So that's why I stopped trading that strategy, because it was too subjective. There's no way to really take data on it because I was just looking at patterns here and I was like, okay, this looks like it's going to move. Like I would just look at it from a bird's eye view. I just go back and then I would just kind of see, okay, how is this moving during Asia? How is this moving during London? How do I think this is going to move during New York? And you can see here, it's pretty much the same way. So you kind of just have to see it. I mean, it's hard to explain, but like if you talk to anybody who's like an experienced trader, and I'm sure like some of you guys feel that way too sometimes, like sometimes you don't even have to like really do any analysis or mark anything up. You could have a clean chart here. And just by looking at the chart, you're like, okay, this is obviously in a range without even having to have any tools on there. And you can see this, you're like, oh, obviously this is in a range too, but I want to focus on this area right here. And same thing happened over here. You know, if you were to focus on this area, like price is obviously in a range, but you want to focus on this area. You want to focus on like what's going to happen on open here. Because market open right here at 6:30, and you're like, okay, if this is going to repeat what happened earlier in the session, then it's probably going to do the same thing again. So yeah, don't get too caught up with like trying to see exactly what I see, guys, because most of the time you guys are probably not going to be able to see what I see unless you guys have my tools, right? Yeah, exactly. So Jason over here mentioned, but so here's the thing, Jason, with your so this entry from today wasn't off your your AMD, because if you're going off your AMD that you were talking about, it would have been the opposite, right? Because if this was manipulation, you would actually be looking for a buy here, because market open right here at 6:30. So this is like the analysis is slightly based off like what Jason's mentioning, accumulation, manipulation, then distribution. That's like the foundation of it. But for me, I see things differently. So like for Jason's analysis for AMD, yeah, this would have been like you would have identified the range here, and then identified a bigger range. But for what I saw here, I saw something different because I saw a range, and then I saw this right here. And it's pretty much a repeat of this. This doesn't fall within AMD. This is something that like, there's probably a name for it, but I don't know what the name is for it. I just see what's in the chart. But if you want to look into it, Patricia, you can look up AMD, accumulation, manipulation, distribution. That's like the foundation of it. But then from there, you can add different, like, obviously there's like different ways that you can like flip things to kind of link to what you're actually looking for. Because it doesn't always work. Like, you know, Jason, like the strategy does work well, but it doesn't exactly always play out. Because if you were to do AMD right here, Jason, if you consider this manipulation right here, then you would have taken the buy here, right, for the breakout, and then it would have lost because price actually came down. So yeah, I just use it as a confluence. I don't use it as a standalone, but I use like AMD as like the basic foundation of understanding that market structure, and then I kind of just put in my own analysis to understand like how it was actually moving. But yeah, I mean, yeah, thanks, Jason. That's a good start. The good start is to start off with AMD, and then from there use your own analysis and your own market structure and the way you read the charts to identify where things are going. I wouldn't necessarily stick to just AMD by itself. All right, guys. So it's 7:30 right now. I'm not really seeing too much happening here. So if you guys have any other questions, feel free to put them in the chat. Otherwise, like I just showed with Patricia earlier, there's just it's consolidating right here, and it's not really worth taking the risk. Let's go over here to our clean chart. So it looks like price is basically, so it's ranging, and then it breaks out, and then it goes back into a range. It's pretty much what happened yesterday. If you guys saw the charts from yesterday and the charts from Friday, it is I mean, it's just pretty much repeating the process. So I'll show you guys right here. Basically, what's happening here is price will come down, range for a bit, come back up, range for a bit, come back down, range for a bit. But there's no actual direction here. So it's not really feasible to take any of these market flow V2s. I mean, if you want to take them, feel free to take them, but I would just, I'd take them with like a lot of with a lot of caution because there's just no direction here. Price just keeps going back and forth. Again, if you want to keep taking trades, I would probably just stick to the V1 variations. Like if you can see some V1 variations come up, I haven't seen any come up here, but if you do see any, those are probably going to be your best options because if you could catch those V1 variations, it's probably going to keep pushing that direction. I just don't see anything here at all. Yeah, like I think there was a V1 variation that happened right here. So if we go back a little bit, yeah, so there's actually a V1 variation that happened right here. It was for a buy. So there's a V1 variation that happened right here, and it did hit. It got pushed back further because it repaints, but if you are looking for these V1 variations, that's probably gonna be like your best option. You're basically gonna look for these double body, double wick rejections off the high lows, and you can catch them for a quick scalp, but those are probably gonna be your best option because price keeps going back and forth. So you can catch those hard reversals. If you can catch those hard reversals at the tops and bottoms, you can easily just cash a quick 10 points. Price comes up, V1 variation. Price comes back down. You get a V1 variation down there. And just repeat the process. So the best strategy for a sideways market is a V1 variation, of course. Best strategy for a directional market would be market flow V2s. Right now, we don't have any directional movement. So in order for us to have directional movement, we need something like this. We don't have this, so there's no market flow V2s available right now. Again, there's a sell signal right here. So if we do get that direction back to the downside, you might be able to catch an entry, but it's just not really looking like it. At least not right now. So, all right, guys, 7:32 right now. If you guys have any questions, feel free to put them in the chat. Otherwise, there's just nothing going on in the market, and I don't think it's really necessary to force anything. So I'm probably going to call it a day pretty soon. So just let me know, guys, if there's any other questions that you guys have. Checking my messages here. Let's see. CJ's asking, will grandfather people members get a KT shirt? Yeah, definitely, CJ. I gotta work on that. I'm trying to work on a new design. I don't really think we need a new design. The design we currently have is I think I like it. I think everyone else likes it as well. So I just gotta get some new shirts printed. It's been a while, but I'll definitely get on that pretty soon. I know you guys have been asking for the shirts for a while, so I'll probably get some new ones made and then let you guys know from there. All right, guys, I think that's it for the day. It's 7:34 right now. Market's pretty much just going sideways. There's no need to force any trades here. Just keep in mind, today is Tuesday, so you have a whole week ahead of you guys. We have Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. Tomorrow, again, there's going to be some news, not a lot of news, but some news pre-market. So this will probably move price basically like how it did today. And then the big news events happen on Thursday and Friday. So Thursday, we have all the jobless claims, retail sales, gas auto, month over month, year over year. And then we have building permits on Friday. I don't think this is going to affect the market too much because we already have the data from the inflation news last week. So it's not really going to move it too much. This will probably move market. This is going to move the market the most on Thursday. But other than that, I think that's going to be it for the day, guys. As you guys can see here, price is just going sideways like we discussed. So if you guys want to keep trading, the thing that you probably want to look for is look for price to break structure and then look for the fake out. So look for price to break out of structure, look for the fake out, and then look for the correction back down. So like again, if price ends up pulling into this range, look for price to come out of structure, fake out, and then come back into the range. That's typically what's been happening here. That's basically what happened over here with the structure. See how price came above the resistance, faked out, came right back in. So, all right, guys, I think that's it for the day. If you guys have any more questions, feel free to reach out. Otherwise, if you guys are just joining the room or if you guys missed the live session for today, we took one official trade, which was the breakout on open. So we took this trade here, hit its full TP. Here are my profits for the day. I did the math earlier, so I locked in about 1,500 per account. I'm trading 28 accounts now, so 42,000 for the day so far, all wins. Well, obviously just one win, took one trade. And then for my Tradeify account, if you guys are looking to do straight to funded, for these accounts, you don't have to do an eval. It's a little more expensive, but you're straight to funded. So locked in about the same amount of profit per account here as well. So pretty solid day so far, guys. Again, if you guys have questions, feel free to reach out. Otherwise, we'll be back here tomorrow for the next live session.